Sayeri's breaching charge blew the pod's hatch inward. Shards of alloy pinged off her armored suit. She lunged inside, mag boots clamping to the deck. A figure slumped in the crash webbing. Human. Blood slicked his flight suit. One arm hung limp, bone protruding through torn fabric. "Contact!" Sayeri barked into her comm. Death Worlder survivor, sedate on sight. She sliced the webbing with her vibro knife. The human slumped forward, heavy. 200 kilos of muscle and bone, even injured. She hooked her arms under his and dragged him out. His blood smeared her visor. Medbay doors hissed open. 2 techs in biosuits rushed forward with a gurney. Sayeri dumped him onto it. Restraints snapped shut. "Stabilize," she ordered. "Full neural block." The lead tech, a wiry Vixari named Lear, scanned the wounds. Multiple fractures, lacerations, internal bleeding probable, probes whirred. Stitches fired into the human's thigh. His chest rose in shallow breaths. Sayeri stood back, pulse rifle trained on his center mass. Humans came from death worlds. Predators. They killed first, asked nothing. Protocol demanded containment. The human's eyes snapped open mid-stitch. He sat up against the restraints. Blood trickled from his lip. "Wrench," he rasped, 11 millimeter, and a plasma torch. Lear froze. The stitch gun clattered to the deck. Sayeri's grip tightened. Down, now. He ignored her, turned his head toward the bulkhead speaker. Alarms hadn't started yet. Injector manifolds failing. "You hear that hum? Secondary seals next." Lear stammered, neural block administered. "He shouldn't." "Wrench," the human repeated, calm, like ordering coffee. He flexed his good hand. "I'll fix it." Sayeri slammed her rifle butt against his shoulder. He grunted but didn't flinch. Threat assessment. Full scan. Restraints weren't enough. She yanked mag cuffs from her belt, locked his wrists to the gurney rails. His skin felt fever hot under the metal. "Captain," she calmed. Humans secured. Demanding tools. Claims engineering knowledge. Captain Illis Terran's voice cut through, sharp. "Scan first. No access until clear." The medbay scanner hummed to life. Blue light swept the human's body. Sayeri watched the readout. No implants. No weapons. Just dense bones, redundant organs, abnormal muscle density. "Clear," Lear said, "except pain blockers offline." He's feeling all this. The human, eyes locked on Sayeri, shrugged his cuffed arm. Fresh blood welled from the bone shard. "Feels fine. Ship won't." A low chime echoed from the corridor. Then alarms blared. Red lights pulsed. "Engineering breach," the ship AI announced. "Injector manifold rupture imminent. Evacuate Sector 3. Sayeri's crest flared. Her ship, her crew. The human tilted his head. "Told you. That tone's manifold harmonics. Get me there." Lear bolted to a console. "Chief Rule confirms. Plasma conduits destabilizing. Cascade failure in 7 minutes." Captain Terran's voice returned. "Vaughn, status?" Human predicted it. Sayeri said, rifle still aimed, from sound alone. "From the pod drift," the human added. "Your engine's compensating. Asymmetric thrust." Sayeri glanced at the med scanner's auxiliary feed. He was right. Thrust vectors skewed. "Captain, request denial." Chief Engineer Keth Rule broke in. "Protocol. Containment first. I'll reroute power." "Time," Terran demanded. 14 minutes reroute. Manifold blows in 7. Silence on comms. Sayeri's training screamed predator. Trick. Lure them close, then strike. But his eyes stayed steady. No snarl. No lunge. Just waiting. "Uncuff him," Terran ordered. "Escort to engineering. Vaughn, you're on him." Sayeri hesitated.
"Captain. Now Lieutenant. Or we all vent."
She unlocked the cuffs. The human swung his legs off the gurney. Stood. 6 feet of bloodied bulk. Didn't waver. "Tools?" he asked. Lear tossed a kit. He caught it one-handed. Sayeri fell in behind. Rifle low ready. They sprinted corridors. Crew scattered at the sight. Whispers. Deathworlder. Monster. Engineering doors parted. Steam hissed. Sparks flew from the manifold panel. Kethrul hunched over a console, tentacles flying across controls. "Human," Keth snapped without looking. Touch nothing. Reroute at 60%. The human Mason, his pod tag read, ignored him, dropped to knees by the manifold. Popped the access hatch. Hiss of venting plasma. Sci-Fi tensed, rifle up. Seals warped, Mason said. Injector clogged with debris. From your pod breach? Keth whirled. Impossible. Diagnostics clear. Mason yanked the injector free. Black sludge poured out. Micrometeorites, punched through without tripping sensors. He grabbed the wrench, torqued a fitting loose. Plasma torch ignited. Blue flame sliced the clogged line. Keth lunged. You'll breach the core! Sci-Fi blocked him. Watched Mason reroute the line manually. Stubborn calm. Blood dripped from his arm onto the deck. He wiped it with his sleeve. Kept working. Alarms, shifted pitch, pressure equalized. Reroute complete, the AI chimed. Manifold stable. Keth stared, tentacles limp. How? No schematics. Mason stood, tossed the torch into the kit. Heard the tone. Seen it before. Spacer rigs back home. Sci-Fi lowered her rifle. His wounds still bled. Stitches half torn. Yet he moved like unbroken. Next, Mason asked. Looked at Keth, then her. Keth checked readouts. Secondary cascade, warp coils overheating. Protocol, emergency shutdown. Shutdown strands us, Mason said. Debris field inbound. I'll vent coolant direct. Keth recoiled. Vent? Breach risk 90%. Mason already moved to the coil access. 80, if quick. Sci-Fi's comm crackled. Captain Terran, Vaughn, report. Manifold fixed, she said. Voice steady. He's on coils. Pause. Trust your assessment. Trust. Her training rejected it. Predators didn't help. But this one fixed what broke them. She stepped closer, covered his back as he cut into the coils. Plasma vented in controlled bursts. His hands blurred. Precise. Ignoring the burns rising on his palms. Crew filtered in. Watched. Whispers died. Coils stabilized. Alarms silenced. Keth slumped against a console. Shh, you. Bypassed 3 safeties. Mason shrugged. Flexed burned fingers. Had to. Sci-Fi met his eyes. No threat there. Just fatigue. And a question. What next? Fresh alarms wailed. Not engineering. Hull integrity. Debris impact. AI blared. Breaches in bays 4 and 5. Mason grabbed the kit. Lead on. Sci-Fi nodded. Fell in beside him. Rifle slung. Her crest lay flat. Captain Terran's voice ship-wide. All hands. Human technician Mason Hale authorized. Assist him. Crew stared as they ran. Sci-Fi felt their eyes. Her caution cracked. This Death Worlder didn't threaten first. He protected. A bulkhead buckled ahead. Sci-Fi raised her rifle. Mason shouldered past. Wrench out. She followed, ready. Metal screeched as the bulkhead split open. Sci-Fi snapped her rifle to her shoulder. Sight locked on the jagged gap. Vacuum howled through. Mason shouldered past her, wrench flashing. He jammed the tool into the seam and heaved. The panel groaned. Held. Strut. There, he barked, nodding left. Sari lunged, gripped the exposed beam. Her claws dug in. Cold air bit her scales. She yanked it straight. Mason wedged the panel shut. Sparks flying from his welds. The howl faded to a hiss. Sealed. Crew clustered behind, eyes wide on the Death Worlder. Whispers rippled. He touched it raw. Sci-Fi lowered her rifle a notch. Her crest twitched. Caution held. Predators struck when backs turned. This one faced the void first. Footfalls echoed. Chief Engineer Keth Rule skidded into view. Toolkit clanking. Out, Keth snarled at Mason. My domain. Protocols. Alarms blared anew. Power conduits flickered. Lights dimmed to red. Bus overload, the AI intoned. Auxiliary failing. Core dump in 6 minutes. Keth paled. Spines rigid. Evacuate engineering. Shutdown sequence. Mason snorted. Wiped sweat from his brow. Burned palms glistened raw. Shutdown strands us in debris. Bus reset. Now. Keth recoiled. Impossible. Live lines are lethal. Insulation rigs take hours. Mason met Sci-Fi's gaze. Flat eyes. Steady. Or die slow. Sci-Fi's grip tightened on her rifle. Crew murmured, fear scent thick in the air. Captain Terran's voice crackled over comms. Vaughn. Assessment. Human claims fix, Sayuri said. Chief objects. Pause. Engineer Keth. Stand down. Vaughn. Guard him to the bus. Full alert. Keth hissed but stepped aside. Sayuri jabbed her rifle barrel toward Mason's chest. Move. Hands visible. He glanced at her stance. Feet too close, barrel dipping. Stance wide, he said, calm as void. Thumb off, safety, or it binds. Her scales prickled. Predator critiqued her weapon, but his form was flawless. Relaxed shoulders, even breath. No tremble. She adjusted, imperceptibly. Intent? She demanded, voice steel. You fix to sabotage later? Mason walked. Unhurried. Intent's live. Ship dies, I die, step by step. Junction 12, bleed pressure valve first, then strip conduit sheath. Use crew gloves for wrap, bridge the bus bear. Pulse, restart. Her mind raced. Protocols screamed, quarantine, but manifolds held. Coils hummed. His words matched schematics she'd glimpsed. Crew trailed at distance. Spines flared in terror. Keth muttered, death world or madness. They reached the power bay. Conduits pulsed angry blue, arcs snapping, heat warped the air. Sayuri leveled her rifle at Mason's heart. Work. Slow. He nodded, grabbed a glove from Keth's kit. Tore it lengthwise, improvised sleeve. Crew gasped. Valve first, Mason recited, twisting the bleed. Hiss of escaping plasma. His face stayed blank, no wince. Arcs licked closer. Sayuri's crest flattened despite herself. Weapon discipline perfect. As he'd noted, he stripped the conduit with bare fingers, insulated by glove rag. Skin sizzled, smell of charred meat. No flinch. Bus exposed, he said. On 3. Bridget. Keth hovered, scanner beeping. Voltage lethal to your kind, Mason shrugged. Routine Tuesday. Sayuri watched his eyes. No rage, no threat, just focus. Pupils steady amid chaos. 1, 2. He slammed the rag-wrapped hands across live terminals. Blue fire erupted. Crew screamed, spines lashing. Sayuri held position, rifle true. Explosion rocked the deck. No, power surged. Lights blazed full. Bus hummed stable. Mason yanked back, palms blackened crisps, flexed fingers. Done. Keth dropped his scanner. You bypassed insulators. Touched plasma arc. Mason grinned faint. Adrenaline's a hell of an anesthetic. Sayuri lowered her rifle, crest fully flat now. Her training lied. Fear in him looked like this, stubborn calm, hands in fire. Not claws out. Crew stared, awe edging out terror. One engineer touched Mason's arm. Tentative. Thank you. Captain Terran burst in, flanked by guards. Hail. Report. All green, Mason said, but debris fields thickening. Next hit breaches core shielding. Terran eyed the burns, resilience noted. Keth, integrate him. Keth nodded, spines low. Already plotting his bypasses into protocol, Sayuri slung her rifle. No need now. Mason grabbed his kit. Core access, lead. She fell in step, side by side. Fresh alarms wailed. Impact imminent. Evasive denied. Thrusters offline. Terran spun. Vaughn. Hail to bridge. Reroute. Everything. They sprinted. Crew parted without murmur. Sayuri felt eyes on her back. No whispers of predator. Awe. In the corridor, Mason grunted, peeling dead skin from palms. Blood welled. He ignored it. You always this cautious? He asked. Her scales warmed. Expect threat first. He chuckled. We protect first. Makes us look crazy. Another bulkhead rattled. Debris pinged hull. Sayuri's hand hovered near her holster. Instinct dropped it. Trust built faster than welds. They hit the bridge. Console sparked. Taran pointed. Thrusters fused. Human? Mason slid under a panel. Recite? Sayuri asked. Automatic? He laughed from the dark. Valve strip. Bridge. Your stance holds. Sparks flew. Crew held breath. Sayuri watched. His legs kicked steady. No panic. Thrusters whined alive. Ship lurched. Evasive roll. Debris streaked past viewports. Safe, Taran exhaled. Hail authorized ship-wide. Permanent. Cheers erupted. Keth clapped Mason's shoulder. Sayeri met his eyes. Fatigue there, yes. But spark beneath, Deathworlder, protector. Her calm buzzed. Core temperature spike, containment failing. Mason straightened, hands dripping red. Next! Sayeri nodded, grabbed a medkit, first. Pressed it into his palm, he took it. No argument. They ran. Core chamber loomed, radiation warnings flashing. Keth trailed. Scanner out. Containment at 40%. Evacuate. Mason cracked the hatch. Heat blasted. Waves distorted air. He stepped in. Sayeri followed. Rifle forgotten. This time, no guard. Step by step, she said. His grin flashed amid glow. Valve, strip, bridge. Arcs danced wild. Crew outside gasped. Sayeri braced. Human fear. Hands in hellfire. Eyes clear. Resilience. Her crest lay still. Trust sealed. But Core groaned deeper. Something worse stirred. Keth slammed the engineering hatch sealed. Red lockdown lights pulsed across the corridor. No access. Protocols demand it. Human or not, primary conduits are off limits. Mason halted mid-stride, toolkit clanging against his thigh. Soot streaked his face from the core chamber. He wiped sweat, glanced at Sayeri. Chief, power grids cascading. Lights flicker next. Conduits need bridging now. Sayeri gripped her stun baton tighter. Her crest twitched. Keth's fear mirrored the crew's. Humans moved too fast, too bold. Predators struck without warning. Yet Mason's eyes stayed level, hands open. No lunge, no snarl. Keth's scanner beeped shrill. Containment stabilized at 62%. But secondary relays overload in minutes. We evacuate. Reroute from auxiliary. Captain Taran's voice crackled over. Comms. Negative, Chief. Ship integrity first. Hail's proven. Override lockdown. Keth's mandibles clicked. Captain is a Deathworlder. Unpredictable. One breach and... Mason shouldered past, pry bar out. Sparks flew as he wedged the panel. Time's the enemy here, not me. Sayeri stepped between them. Her rifle stayed slung. This time. Stand down, Chief. He fixed thrusters. Fixed core breach. Watch. Keth yielded, but his claws hovered near controls. Engineering hummed wrong. Deep vibration rattled deck plates. Lights dimmed to amber stutter. Mason dropped to knees. Scanned the hatch schematics on his wrist pad. Locked tight. Fine. Maintenance crawl space it is. He yanked a great free torch igniting blue-white. Sayeri knelt beside him. Heat from his tool washed her scales. Crawl space? That's the oven. Crew avoids it. Temps hit 200 Kelvin above safe. Oxygen depletes in cycles. He flashed that grin, teeth white amid grime. Oven's just a kitchen. Stay here if you want. I'll bridge the conduits manual style. Her pulse quickened. Duty pulled her in. Trust pulled harder. She checked her timer implant. Recite your steps. Valve, strip, bridge. Valve, strip, bridge. He slid feet first into the dark shaft. Boots vanished. Echo of metal clank followed. Sayeri peered in. Glow from his torch flickered walls slick with condensation. Air thickened hot, acrid. She activated her visor overlay. Oxygen 87%. Heat 150 and climbing. Her own suit hissed coolant. Crew clustered behind. Keth muttered. Insane. Kill Cook. She ignored him. Tracked Mason's form wriggling forward. Torch beam stabbed conduits overhead. Twisted pipes. Fused relays sparking. He cursed soft human words lost in hiss. Timer, 2 minutes. Oxygen down to 74. Heat 175. Sayeri's crest flattened. Humans endured plasma burns without flinch. But this, prolonged. Her hand itched for the extraction cable. Mason's voice echoed tinny. Valve seized. Cutting bypass. Torch whined. Sparks showered. Sayeri smelled ozone. Felt the deck shudder. Lights overhead flickered full black, then stuttered back faint. Got the strip, he grunted. Bridging now. Keth pushed forward. Pull him. Exposure critical. Sayeri blocked him. He knows his limits. But doubt gnawed. Her visor flashed. Oxygen 62%. Heat, 210. Human norm. Collapse imminent. Mason twisted. Torch arcing wild. A hiss. Plasma vent. He slammed a patch panel. Lights surged steady overhead. Engineering hummed alive. Timer. 8 minutes. He dragged backwards, smoke curling from his coveralls. Shoulders emerged first, then face, reddened, blisters bubbling on arms. He coughed, hauled himself out, collapsed to knees, but hands gripped toolkit firm. Sayuri thrust a breather mask to his face. He sucked deep. Nodded thanks. No collapse, no plea. Keth stared. Scanner forgotten. Bypass complete. Relays stable. Mason stood wincing. Fabric smoked on his back. Primaries rerouted. Lights on, but overloads cascading deeper. Fuel injectors next. Captain Terran burst onto the scene. Report. Human accessed the oven. Keth stammered. Came back functional. Grid holds. Terran eyed Mason's burns. Med bay? After, Mason said. Stubborn jaw set. He cracked the engineering hatch, now green-lit. Injectors fuse. We limp. Let's move. Sayuri fell in step. Her baton hung loose. Human fear, not roar, but grit. Eyes clear and hellfire. She tapped her comm. Security clears hail for primaries. Full escort. Crew parted. Whispers rippled. Awe threading fear. Keth trailed. Scanner beeping green. Inside engineering consoles blazed alive. Mason dove under the injector array. Sparks flew anew. Sayuri timed again. Heat lower here, but conduits pulsed hot. Valves jammed, he called. Need to strip the secondary line. Keth hesitated, then handed tools. Here, precision cutter. Mason took it. No grab. No dominance. Thanks, Chief. Sayuri watched Ark's dance. Mason's hands. Blistered. Steady. Rerouted feeds. Injectors whined smooth. Ship's engines throbbed stronger. But alarms wailed fresh. Hull stress. Debris field closing. Tarrant's voice. Evasive pattern delta. Hail to bridge auxiliary. Mason wiped blood-sweat mix on it. He straightened. No limp. Sayuri matched his stride. Crest still. Trust welded now. Deeper groan echoed from core. Worse stirred. Containment slipping again. Mason paused at a junction panel. One more bypass. Through the subdeck. Keth balked. That's restricted. Radiation spikes. Or we vent plasma. Mason pried the grate. Sayuri checked her visor. Radiation nominal. For him. She holstered her baton fully. Together. He nodded. Dove in. Heat blasted fiercer. Sayuri followed. Timer reset. Oxygen dropped fast. Her suit strained. Torch flared ahead. Valve. Got it. She counted beats. Human resilience. Not armor, but will. Crew outside held breath. Lights flickered ship-wide. Mason emerged, smoking heavier. Blisters wept, but grin held. Bridge secure. Plasma contained. Consoles steadied. Cheers echoed corridors. Keth clapped his shoulder. Gentle. You. If fixed it. Captain Terran arrived. Ship stable. Hail, your crew. Mason shrugged. Just doing the job. But core alarms spiked anew. Deeper groan rattled bulkheads. Containment at 40 again. Worse. Mason's eyes sharpened. Round 2. Who's with me? Sayuri gripped her rifle. Not as guard. As ally. Human protector. Her fear gone. They charged. Engineering sealed behind. But vents hissed hot. Keth dashed ahead. Scanner wild. Primary conduits fused solid. No access. Lockdown auto-engaged. Mason skidded to halt. Bulkhead glowed red. Chief. Override. Can't. Protocol. Keth punched codes. Nothing. Sayuri's visor pinged. Power drain critical. Lights dimmed to emergency red. Mason dropped toolkit. Crawl space bypass. Again. Grate screeched free. He lit torch. Ovens calling. Sayuri knelt. Heat wave hit. Timer starts now. He vanished into black. Torch beam danced. Crew gasped. Keth. He'll die in there. She tracked vitals proxy. His wrist pad pinged to her. Heart steady. Breaths even. Minutes ticked. Heat 250. Oxygen 50. Torch whined. Sparks lit the shaft orange. Strip complete. Mason grunted. Sayuri braced. Human normal. Extraordinary. Lights surged full ship-wide blaze. He crawled out smoking. Coveralls charred crisp. Skin raw but legs held. He slammed the bypass panel home. Consoles roared alive. No collapse. He straightened. Job done. Keth gaped. Terran nodded sharp. Crew stared. Fear to awe. Plasma bolts scorched the corridor bulkhead inches from Sayuri's crest. She spun, rifle up. Crewman Jiltar crouched ahead, eyes wild behind his visor. His sidearm barked again. Wild shot cracking sparks from the deck. "Monster!" Jiltar screamed. "It'll kill us all!" Mason exploded from her flank. He tackled her sideways, shoulder slamming her armored ribs. They hit the grate together, sliding. His body shielded hers, bulk absorbing the next bolt's graze. Sayuri's world tumbled. Alarms wailed. Bulkheads groaned deeper now, ship twisting under fresh strain. Mason rolled up fast. He lunged at Jiltar. One hand pinned the crewman's rifle wrist to the deck. The other clamped his throat, not crushing, just holding. Jiltar thrashed. "Get off! Human predator!" Mason's voice cut calm through the panic. "Easy. Breathe." Sayuri surged to boots, rifle trained steady on her own crewman. Heart thundered in her vents. Fear protocols firing hot. Humans killed first. Always. But Mason hadn't struck, pinned without pain. Eyes locked on Jiltar, unblinking. "Stand down, Jiltar," she barked. "That's an order." He froze. Rifle clattered free. Sayuri keyed her comm. Security to Corridor 7. Detain crewman Jiltar for panic discharge. Medical en route. Jiltar sagged under Mason. "Lieutenant, it fixed the core. Then lights it moves like us. What if—" Silence. She hauled him up by collar plate. Restraints snapped on wrists. "You fired on an ally." Ally. The word burned her tongue. But core hummed stable now, because of him. Two security rushed in. Took Jiltar. He babbled as they dragged him away. Sayuri turned. Mason rose slow, brushing char from his coveralls. No wince, no glare. Crew clustered behind. Keth clutching scanner. Terran's voice crackling over comm. Lights flickered. New alarm pierced. Hull stress critical, Section 12. Mason met her gaze. "Release the tension. We got work." She gripped his arm, still braced from the pin. Muscle solid under burns. "You shielded me. Line of fire." He shrugged. Toolkit clanked as he scooped it. "Keeps the fix on schedule." Captain Terran's voice cut in. "Lieutenant Vaughn, report. Containment holding?" "Holding, Captain." Wrist pad pinged. His vitals linked to hers. Pulse steady, at human baseline. Burns ignored. Panic shot neutralized. Human intact. "Human?" Terran's tone sharpened. "Mason Hale?" "Affirmative." Pause. Then, "Get to Section 12. Hull breach venting plasma." "Keth, protocols now." Keth bolted ahead, scanner whining. Evac routes sealed. Manual patch needed. They ran. Corridor lights strobed red. Air grew thick, ozone bite sharpening. Sayuri matched Mason's stride. Human legs pumped relentless, despite charred sleeves peeling back raw skin, no limp from the crawlspace oven. Why shield? He could crush throats, rip vents. Instead, protect. Crew fear twisted her gut. Jiltar wasn't alone, whispers echoed. Predator walks free. Deck shuddered. Vents spat sparks. Section 12 loomed, bulkhead buckled inward. Plasma arcs lancing through microfractures. Keth skidded halt. Containment field at 20%. Alien protocols demand evacuer. Mason dropped toolkit. No time. He yanked great cover. Plasma heat warped the metal. Breach this. Route auxiliary power. Keth's vents flared. Impossible. Field harmonics will fry you. Watch. Mason dove in. Torch ignited. Blue flame cutting conduit. Sayuri knelt at edge. Heat slammed her visor. 200 rising fast. Her suit pinged warnings. Keth scanned frantic. Oxygen dropping. He'll cook. She tracked his pad. Hard even. Breaths measured. Human normal. Torch whined. Sparks showered. "Reroute live," Mason grunted. Voice muffled. Steady. Ship groaned. Then stabilized. Plasma arcs dimmed. Field hummed to 60. He crawled out. Skin blistered fresh. Coveralls smoking anew. Coughed once. Cleared it. Slammed panel shut. Keth stared. You bypassed harmonics manually. Job needs doing. Mason straightened. Legs locked. No sway. Taran arrived with reinforcements. Scanned the patch. Nodded. Solid. Crew stand down. Calm protocol alpha. Ship-wide chime rang. All hands. Cease panic. Human asset secured. Focus repairs. Crew exhaled. Whispers shifted. Shock-edging awe. Sayeri watched Mason. Stubborn calm. Pain routine. New alarm spiked. Bridge relay. Navigation offline. Asteroid field inbound. Terran spun. Mason? He nodded. On it. They charged again. Corridor junction. Crew milled. Eyes darting. Private Laird gasped. Lieutenant, the human. Move! Sayeri shoved past. Mason flowed beside. Toolkit swinging. Lair bolted. Others followed. Asteroid proximity klaxons blared. Deck tilted. Impacts buffeting hull. Bridge doors hissed. Consoles sparked. Terran at command. Evasive locked out. Keth patched navcore. Fusion overload. Needs cold reboot. Mason shouldered in. Where's the access? Underfloor. Keth pointed. But radiation shielding, gone. Mason pried panel. Green glow pulsed. Lethal rads. Sayeri's scanner screamed. Fatal dose in seconds. He dropped inside. Hands danced over boards. Sparks flew. Reboot sequence. Live. Hull rattled. Rocks pinging closer. His pad spiked. Heart up 10%. Still human steady. Nav online! Terran punched thrust. Ship lurched free. Mason emerged. Skin glowing faint from rads. Coughed haze. Clear. Crew gaped. Keth. Radiation scrub needed now. Terran eyed Mason. Med bay. Later, he wiped brow. Next, Sayeri gripped rifle. Fear gone. Replaced by trust. Bulkheads whined anew. Core relay pinged. Secondary containment slipping. Round 3, Mason said. They moved as unit. Human first. Aliens flanked. Crew parted now. No shots. Eyes wide. Awe blooming. Sayeri matched pace. He shielded her. Fixed their ship. Endured their hell. Predator? No. Protector. Why her? Question burned. Plasma vents hissed ahead. Heat built. Mason lit torch. Who's with me? She gripped his shoulder. We are. They plunged in. Ship shuddered violent. Alarms peaked. Life support failing cascade. Keth yelled over roar. Oxy mix toxic. Filters fused. Mason veered to subdeck. Filters first. Sayeri followed tight. Air clawed lungs, vents souring. Crew behind faltered. One retched. He tore grate. Filters glowed blockage. Debris jammed solid. Torch sliced. Debris rained molten. Taran combed. Status. Filters clear, Mason hacked. Smoke inhalation roughening voice. Breathe. Oxy stabilized. Crew gasped relief. But core groaned terminal. Containment at 10. Back to engineering heart. Keth prepped final protocol. Eject core. No eject, Mason said. Patch it. Suicide. Keth snapped. Try. Sayeri blocked eject panel. Trust earned in fire. Heat 400. His pad flatlined vitals. Then beeped alive. Minutes dragged. Explosion rocked. Contained. He emerged. Body charred black. Legs buckled once. Locked. Slapped final seal. Core purred. Silence fell. Lights full. Ship whole. Taran stared. You saved us. Mason slumped against bulkhead. Team effort. Crew knelt. Awe total. Sayeri knelt too. Hand on his arm. Blisters wept. Yet he grinned faint. You shielded me, she said low. Could kill us. Sayeri peeled the gel pack from Mason's forearm. Blisters bubbled angry red across charred skin. The med bay lights hummed sterile blue. She expected him to flinch. Humans registered pain like plasma burns. Universal agony. Hold still. Her claws clicked the scanner pad. Reading spiked. Nerve fire at 80% capacity. Pain blockers. Now. Mason sat rigid on the exam slab. Cuff still locked his wrists to the restraint bar, his eyes locked on hers. Calm brown pools in a soot-streaked face. No blockers. Hands need steady. She froze. Steady? This wound should drop a Krell warrior. Her own kind collapsed at half the damage. Protocol demands it. Your vitals scream. Overload. He inhaled slow. Chest rose. Held. Exhaled measured. Breathing does the job. Seen worse in factory shifts. Factory shifts? Sayuri scanned his file. Pulled from the Rex black box. Human colony tech. Exposed to chem fires, rad leaks. Routine, he called it. Her mandibles clicked doubt. Predators hid weakness to strike later, but this one shielded her in the vents. Took debris meant for her spine. Captain Terran burst through the hatch. Status, Lieutenant? Severe burns, Captain. 2nd-degree plasma exposure. He's refusing treatment. Terran's frills flared. She eyed Mason's slumped form, legs locked straight, despite the tremble she spotted. Engineer Keth reports core stable, but secondary systems flicker. Hull breaches venting trace plasma. Mason's head snapped up. Breaches where? Sayuri blocked his view of the main console. Irrelevant. You rest. No. He tugged cuffs. Metal clinked. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hands unclenched. Fingers flexed precise. Diagnostics first, then meds. Keth stormed in behind Terran. His toolkit clanked. Humans mad. Core patch held. Miracle, but filters need recalibration. My protocols say isolate him till psych eval. Taran waved him silent. He saved us, Chief. Crew's alive because of it. Her gaze pinned Sayuri. Can he work? Sayuri hesitated. Her training screamed trap. Humans, pack predators, unpredictable rage. Yet his grin in the shaft, faint, through smoke, replayed. No kill lust. Just grit. She keyed her cuff remote. Locks, snicked open. Mason rubbed wrists. Red welts, ignored. She pulled her personal access badge from her belt. Gold embossed, full engineering override. Calculated risk. Diagnostics only. No ship schematics. He took it. Fingers brushed hers. Cool despite fever. Nodded once. Slid badge into the console port. Screen bloomed. Sayuri leaned in. Monitoring. He tapped fast. Filter logs, oxy scrubbers, core telemetry. Efficient. No deviations. Filters fused from debris wake, he muttered. Recalibrate mix to 21% oxy. Bump nitrogen scrub. Hull breaches. Decks 7 through 9. Keth crowded the console. How? That's classified hazard map. Mason pulled the hazardous maintenance overlay. Red zones pulsed. Plasma vents. Rad pockets. Structural weak points from the cascade. Ship's underbelly exposed. He traced a path. Patch here first. Sealant foam, then weld. Avoid the hot vents. Sayuri's vents tightened. That map required captain-level clearance. Her badge granted it. Personal trust. He could have copied it all. Wrecked their nav secrets. Sabotaged from within. He ejected the badge. Handed it back clean. No data trail. Map shows cascade origin. Debris field clipped us mid-jump. More incoming? Terran snatched the badge. Scanned it. Untouched. Lieutenant? Sayuri reclaimed it. Warm from his grip. He accessed. Returned. Keth snorted. Luck or ploy. Mason slid off the slab. Bare feet hit deck. Steady. Ploy gets you dead. Team lives. Sayuri gripped his arm to steady him. Protocol. Support injured. Her claw pads touched raw blister. Pressed firm. Scanner firm but instinct tested. Pain should buckle him. Drop him screaming like her drills taught. Exploit weakness. Inhaled slow. Exhaled. Locked eyes on the console. Fingers danced keys. Pulled breach schematics. And steady as alloy. Her frills quivered. Shock rippled cold through her spines. Humans broke under less. She'd seen vids. Their wars. Screams. Yet this one, pain as fuel. Captain, Sayuri said low. He's operational. Terra nodded sharp. Keth, prep repair teams. Mason directs. Keth grumbled but grabbed his kit. Fine, but cuffed nearby. No cuffs. Sayuri stepped between. Her claw lingered on Mason's arm. Blister weeping under her touch. He worked through it. Protected first, not threatened. Mason glanced down, grinned faint. Tickles, impossible. Her kind would have severed the limb. Crew filtered in. Techs, survivors from the vents. They stared, whispers. The human stood in 400 heat. Took the slag meant for Lieutenant Vaughn. One knelt, then more. Awe rippled. Not fear. Sayeri released his arm. Watched him plot repair routes. Stubborn calm. Resilience, not rage. Alarms pinged soft. Secondary breach widening. Plasma trace, spiked. Mason straightened. Who's with me? She gripped his shoulder. We are. They plunged out. Crew tight behind. Trust, forged in fire. Human fear, not snarls. Steady breaths, hands that held when worlds burned. Medbay hatch sealed. Sayeri calmed ahead. Hazard teams to deck 7. Human lead. Keth jogged up. You're vouching? Protocols. Protocols eject the core. He's better. She matched Mason's stride. Burns wept. He ignored. Deck 7 hatch hissed open. Plasma haze stung vents. Crew masked up. Mason didn't. Inhaled deep. Steady. He tore a panel. Wires sparked. Foam here. Torch lit. Blue-white. Sayeri fed sealant. Watched his hands. Blistered. Precise. No tremor. Debris shifted overhead. Groan of stressed bulkhead. A strut buckled. Slag rained. She shoved him clear. Took the hit. Spine pad scorched light. He spun. You good? Claw tested her back. Mild burn. Fine. Grin flashed. Team effort. Keth sealed the weld. Breach contained. Vitals green. Crew exhaled. More knelt. Awe deepened. Terran's voice crackled calm. All decks secure. Jump prepped. Mason, stand down. He slumped against bulkhead. Legs locked. Blisters cracked fresh. Sayeri knelt, hand on his knee. Medbay. Now. Blockers, after jump. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Steady. Captain arrived. Eyed the knelt crew. Rise. Humans saved us twice. Honor it. They stood. Salute snapped. First to Mason. Sayeri rose last. Her training rewrote. Humans didn't threaten first. They endured. Built trust in the burn. Jump klaxon wailed. Stars streaked. Ship hummed whole. In medbay again, post-jump, Sayeri forced him down. The scanner hummed. Blockers, she insisted. He chuckled rough. Nah. Breathing works. She pressed the blister deliberate. Tested again. Steady hands keyed final logs. Grin faint. Bear looked different. Resilience won faster than force. Her badge stayed clipped to his belt. Trust earned. Captain Illis Terran's voice exploded over comms. Emergency deceleration. Collision risk. Brace now. Sayeri Vaughn snapped her harness tight. Her security team buckled in beside her, claws fumbling straps in the dim red glow. Bulkheads groaned as inertial dampers whined to overload. The ship lurched. Deceleration at 5 Gs. Unbraced crew would shatter bones against decks. She scanned her station feed. Corridors empty. Good. Her gaze flicked to auxiliary bay cam. Mason Hale sprinted through it, unstrapped, hauling cargo webbing from a locker. Strap down, she barked into her wrist comm. He didn't break stride. No time. Follow me. Now. Her frills flared. Protocol screamed restrain the human. He was dangerous. Unpredictable mass. Alien physiology. But the ship tumbled toward debris field. Jump exit gone wrong. Seconds to impact. Sayeri unclipped. Team, with me. Secure him if he bolts. They piled out, tails lashing. Mason reached a junction box, ripped panel free. Sparks flew. He looped webbing through exposed struts. Yanked knots tight. This'll hold. Cross brace pattern. Grab ends. Her petty officer, Jill, hesitated. Lieutenant, he's improvising. Protocols. Move. Sayeri shoved him forward. Mason's hands blurred. Webbing snaked across the corridor like a net. He tied off to deck cleats. Tension humming. Ear. Mason tossed coils. Thread through the upper rails. Pull like your life depends. Because it does. Jill caught it. Fumbled the weave. Mason leaned in, guided his claws. Twist left, lock right. Faster, Sayeri watched. Human skin blistered from earlier welds, fresh red, no wince. He moved like G-forces meant nothing. Her team copied. Webbing grids formed, makeshift harnesses dangling from ceilings, walls. Chief Engineer Keth Rule burst from engineering hatch. Eye stalks wide. Human. Cease. Decil in 30. Standard braces only. Mason ignored him. Tested a line. Sprang back taut. Not enough. They'll snap. This spreads the load. He pointed. Aliens in the grid. Feet in loops. Claws on rails. On my count. Keth sputtered. Captain's orders, protocol. Captain Taryn's voice cut in. Status, Vaughn? Sayuri gripped a webbing line. Mason's eyes met hers. Calm, steady, no fear sent. Just focus. Her training whispered. Predators charge. This one built. Trust him, Captain, Sayuri said. He's rigging braces. Silence. Then, 10 seconds. Make it work. Keth snarled. Insane. He'll kill us. Mason spun to him. Grab a line or sit it out. He hauled Sayuri into position. Webbing cradled her torso, legs looped secure. Her team followed, awkward but locked. Debris pinged hull. Alarms peaked. Mason centered in the grid. Claws. No. Hands. Gripped dual rails. 3, 2, 1. Decel. Sayuri punched the override. Thrusters roared. Ship slammed brakes. Gez crushed like a fist. Her body yanked forward. Bones creaked, but webbing bit in, distributed force. No snap, no shatter. Keth yelped, flailing into his loop. Jill grunted. Eld. Sayuri's spine pads compressed. Pain flared. Tolerable. The crush peaked. Held. Eased. Mason stood. Feet planted on deck. Knees bent. Hands white-knuckled on rails. Unwebbed on his feet. Sayuri blinked grit from eyes. Human balanced the full 5Gs like a stroll. Muscles corded under skin. Sweat beaded, but grin flashed. Clear. Everyone good? Keth wheezed. How? Ship shuddered. New alarm. Hull stress. Impact minimal, Taryn reported, but core breach forward. Radiation spiking. Keth, seal it. Keth disentangled. Stumbled toward hatch. Sealing teams deploy. Mason dropped to deck first. Ripped. Webbing free. Not yet. Scans say cascade. Next bulkhead'll blow. He sprinted past Sayuri. She followed. Team on tails. Forward bay. Plasma vented blue. Crew slumped. Braced wrong. Broken limbs. Mason skidded in. Grabbed fire suppressor. Foam hissed over leaks. Sayuri covered him. Evac them. He nodded. Foam first. Fire spread. No pause. Blisters cracked on palms. Ignored. Foam sealed primary vent. Keth arrived, toolkit clanking. Fool. That's not procedure. Auto seals engage in... Failed. Mason pointed. Gauge redlined. Rig bypass. He tore access grate. Wires dangled. Need conductive gel. Your med kit? Sayuri yanked hers open. Squirted gel into his palm. He smeared circuits. Bridged gaps. Sparks danced. Steady hands. Keth shoved in. Let me. Claws probed precise, but slow. Mason bypassed him. Twisted final link. Vent died. Radiation dropped. Crew moaned. Sayuri dragged one clear. Mason hefted two. Massive for his frame. Carried without strain. Taryn chemmed. Breach status? Contained, Keth muttered. Eyed Mason. By improvisation. Engines next, Mason said. Overload chain. I heard the whine. Keth's stalks twitched. Impossible. Sensors clear. Mason bolted for engine subcore. Sayuri matched pace. Corridors buckled. Decel aftershocks. Plates shifted. Subcore. Coils glowed hot. Vibration rattled teeth. Mason climbed ladder. No harness. Injector valves stuck. Heat warp. He pried casing. Steam jetted. Skin reddened instant. Pulled valve free, hammered straight with boot heel. Sayuri fed coolant from hose. Burn blockers. Later, he slotted valve. Coils stabilized. Wine faded. Keth scanned. Vitals nominal. How did you know? Mason wiped face. Felt it in my feet. Human thing. Vibration sense. Shrugged. Dropped down. Sayuri's team secured injured. Awe rippled, whispers. He stood in 5Gs, fixed without tools. Captain arrived with medics. Eyed the subcorps. Report. Mason leaned on bulkhead. Breath even. Cascades stopped. Ships flyable. Keth crossed arms. Luck. Skill, Sayuri said. Her claw touched Mason's shoulder. No flinch from him. Trust sealed in webbing and welds. Taran nodded.
Human, you're on bridge watch, Von Escort.
Sayuri saluted. Mason straightened. Blisters wept but stride firm. Bridge doors hissed. Scans cleared. Debris field receded. Mason dropped into aux console. Fingers flew. Course plotted. Avoid next cluster. Taran leaned in. Confirmed? Yep. Grin. No boast. Keth grumbled from engineering feed. Monitor him. Sayuri stood post. Watched Mason. Human fear? Absent. He joked with bridge techs, taut brace knots, crew laughed. Tentative. Hours ticked. Ship hummed steady. Alert pinged. Anomaly. Hostile signature. Taran tensed. Shields up. Mason's head snapped up. Not hostile. Distress. Human pattern. Old colony beacon. Sayuri's frills perked. How do you... No. He tapped console. Signature matches. They're drifting. We can tow. Taran eyed him. Risk? Minimal. They need us. Calm insistence. Sayuri watched Captain Wei. Protocol. Isolate unknowns. But Mason's eyes, stubborn light. Tractor prep. Taran ordered. Von. Security on it. Mason rose. I'll rig the beam. Again. Sayuri followed. No hesitation now. Cargo bay. Tractor emitter sparked. Mason climbed scaffold. Align coils. Your claws precise for this. Sayuri's claws snapped the final coil into alignment. Sparks died. The tractor emitter hummed steady. Mason dropped from the scaffold. Feet hit deck plating with a thud. He wiped sweat from his brow, blisters cracking on his palms. No grimace, just a nod. Good work. Beams locked. Alarms silenced. The distress pod stabilized in their tractor grip. Bridge feed crackled. Taran's voice. Secure it. Well done. Sayuri sheathed her claws. Her frills lay flat. Quiet settled in the cargo bay. No more pings. No shakes. Just the low thrum of the ship. Mason leaned against a crate, breath even. He pulled a ration bar from his pocket, bit in. Chewed slow. She stepped closer. Frills twitched. Training screamed. Interrogate threats now, before they adapt. But this human fixed crises like breaths. No rage, no boasts. You, she said, voice low. Your fear. Where is it? He paused mid-chew. Eyes met hers, brown, steady. No evasion. Fear? Her tail lashed once. Humans scream. Fight blind. Panic spreads like plasma. Yours? Nothing. Subcore breach. Blisters, climbing scaffolds. You act. Why? Cargo bay lights flickered soft. Air recyclers hummed. Crew chatter faded from comms. This pocket held only them. Mason swallowed. Set the ration aside. Fear's always there, Sayuri. Gut twist. Heart. Pound. Subcore. Thought we'd all vent. Tractor. One slip. Pod crushes us. She stiffened. Claws flexed. Predators charged through terror. Prey froze. Humans? Acted deeper into it. Lies. Scans show elevated pulse. Adrenaline floods, yet you weld. Plot. Climb. No freeze, no flight. He shrugged. Shoulders rolled easy. People depend on me. Crew. You. Captain? That old colony pod? Folks like me, drifting. Can't let fear win. Act anyway. Fix what breaks. Her frills flared. Training cracked. Her species trained fear into weapons. Frills rigid. Claws out. Strike first. Humans bottled it. Turned it fuel. Resilience. Not rage. Why protect first? She pressed. Voice edged. Predators threaten. Secure kills. You shield unknowns. Mason's gaze held. Calm pierced her scales. Not predators. People. Back home. We lose one. Lose all. Ship like this. Family. You fixed my arm earlier. Didn't ask. Just did. Quiet stretched. Her claw rose, touched his shoulder again. No flinch, skin warm under fabric. Trust sealed before. Sayeri inhaled sharp. Protocols shifted. Her culture demanded bonds for allies. Pledges sealed in claw and word. Protected status. No more isolation. She dropped to one knee. Formal stance. Frills swept low. Claws extended. Palms up. Mason Hale. I, Lieutenant Sayeri Vaughn, security of the Vespers Claw. Pledge bond. You prove worth beyond scans. Protected status. My claws guard you. Your skills guard us. Accept? Bridge feed buzzed faint. Keth's voice grumbled somewhere distant. But here, air thickened. Mason blinked. Knelt to her level. No hesitation. Hand clasped her claw. Grip firm. Accept. Bond sealed. Warmth spread through her scales. Pledges bound crews through wars. Rare for outsiders. Never for softskins. He grinned faint. Stood. Pulled her up. One ask. Teach me your signals. Frills. Tail flicks. Claws. Next emergency, I read you fast. Ksh. Ksh. The rose perked high. Awe signal. Training reeled. Humans learned alien cues mid-crisis. Adapted? Agreed. She tapped comms. Vaughn to bridge. Human bonded. Protected. Resume watch. Terran's reply clipped. Acknowledged. Keth sync him. Engineering access. Cargo bay doors hissed. They stepped out. Mason's stride matched hers. Blisters wept clear fluid. He ignored. Hallway lights glowed steady. Crew nodded as they passed. Tentative smiles. No stares. Sayeri watched him. Ear never left. He said it plain. Acted anyway. People depended. Her tail curled slight. Approval flick. He caught it. Nodded back. Learned already. Bridge doors parted. Terran spun from command. Status. Pod secured, Mason said. Dropped into aux console. Fingers danced. Life signs. 12 humans. Stable. Docking in 10. Keth stormed in via feed. Mandibles clicked. Protocol. Quarantine. Scans first. Mason leaned back. Scans running. Air compatible. They're starved. Not armed. Sayeri stood post. Claw near Mason's chair. Bond hummed. Her frills signaled clear to crew. Taran weighed. Eyed Mason. Risk? Family? He said simple. No push. Captain nodded. Dock them. Vaughn. Security detail. Alarms pinged soft. Pod aligned. Clangs echoed as it latched. Sayeri moved. Mason rose beside. Signals. Frills high. All clear. Low. Threat. Tail lash. Evade. He mirrored. Frills. But hand signal. Thumbs up. Human clear. Pod hatch cycled. Air rushed. Figures tumbled out. Ragged clothes. Human faces. Wide eyes at aliens. One elder gripped Mason's arm. Thought we were ghosts. Mason clapped shoulder. Not today. Food's coming. Sayeri scanned. No weapons, just exhaustion. Her claws stayed sheathed. Crew murmured. Keth grumbled. Unvetted. Bonded. Sayeri snapped. Frills rigid. Humans clustered. Shared rations Mason passed. Laughter bubbled. Weak, but real. Taran watched feeds. Human patterns match. Colony logs verify. Mason plotted evac course. Debris cleared. Jump ready. Sayeri leaned close. Whispered, signal lesson. Mandible click. Affirm. Double. Halt. He clicked teeth. Close enough. Grinned. Ship jumped. Stars streaked. Quiet returned. Med bay next. Humans triaged. Mason waved off his blisters. Later. Sayeri blocked him. Claw gentle on arm. Bond. Heel first. He sat. Let Tex work. No fight. Her frills settled. Awe deepened. Fear fueled him. Dependence drove. Not force. Keth approached. Mandibles tight. He improvises. Protocols save us. His skill complements, Sayeri said. Watch. Mason stood. Bandages fresh. Back to console. Alert. Flared anew. Ion storm inbound. Terran tensed. Evasive. Mason's hands flew. Reroute power, shields hold, Keth barked. Negative. Standard drain. Trust, Mason said, eyes on Sayuri. She nodded, frills high. His way, power surged, storm hit. Ship shuddered, but held, Keth silent, awe in mandibles slack. Taran exhaled. Human led on nav. Mason nodded, no grin. Just work. Sayuri stood vigilant. Bond sealed trust. Human fear. Hidden weapon, stronger than claws. Storm cleared, scans pinged friendly. But deep scan whispered. Anomaly trailed. Not storm, signature pulsed. Mason's head snapped. That's no debris. Sayuri's frills spiked, training roared back. Threat. He met her gaze. Fear flickered in eyes, but hands steady. People depend. Her claw gripped his. Bond tight. They moved as one.